So what I wanted to touch on is the perception of competing and what it takes to actually compete. There's a reason why I haven't competed over the past 4 or 5 years, and it's because we are 10, 11, 12 and 13, potentially weeks out. So we're in the local today. This is just a little pick-me-up, you know? I look like a skeleton. Walk around for about 8 minutes. All fun and games. Oh, you're filming? Yeah. Welcome back to the YouTube. So, back in Dubai. Done with the travels for now, to be honest. But nice to be back into a really good, productive environment. And I'm gonna see the prep through over here. It's a really good environment to prep from. Best gyms. We've got some sunlight, daylight exposure. No limitations here, realistically. Traveling back and forward, it's just too stressful on the body. We're trying to manage everything, manage the business, manage training, etc. So I'm here for the foreseeable until it's time to compete, which means weekly updates too, because we had a small week hiatus because of that travel commitments I had to see through. So today's video, we're just going to run through the actual setup that's currently going on. So what I'm doing from a training perspective, current food setup, the plan and protocol that we're utilizing on the lead up to this prep, and then releasing kind of what shows we potentially will be competing in, because we hadn't decided that just yet. We wanted to see how the body was responding before we actually selected show dates, and I had to line them up perfectly with my schedule because I also have clients that are competing too, and I want to make sure that I can attend as many of those shows as possible so I can see everything through. Ross is steering the wheel. I'm not too sure if any of you know Ross, but I've been working with Ross from Team Pro Coach for the last 1.5 years. I know Ross personally, a very good coach, very good human being. He understands me a lot. I probably wouldn't be a regular client in terms of like workload and what I have to do on a day-to-day basis. I am quite busy with trying to run the business and so on. So he's been very understanding with that, and we've made some decent progress together. So reason for getting a coach, I've prepped myself the last 5 shows that I've done, but I didn't have as much demand on back then in comparison to what I have now. So essentially all I want to do is have someone call the shots and steer the ship. So all I have to do is follow suit. I don't have to worry about what my changes are, what my amendments are. All I have to do is show up, tick the boxes, and let that take control, essentially. So that just removes a lot of stress from me, and it removes any of the guesswork that sometimes you put on yourself. I've been through preps in the past where I potentially could have brought a better look because I was so fixated on bringing condition that I ran myself into the ground. And this won't be the case this time because everything's kind of taken care of by someone else. So I'll run through the setup that we're currently on. First of all, we're going to get a meal in, and then we're going to hit the gym, do a smaller session today. It's not a big session today, it's more of like a top-up session, and then we'll run you through that.
Bye. 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 Ready?
Feeling sore today, so yeah, I'm ready as can be. I'm a bit tender from the push session the other day, so today's a light session, so it's not too bad. Usually I would rest today, and my next session would be like pull, and then I would do this session, but just with how the week is running, I have to run it this way today because I have you. Basically, I have to work around my schedule. So we'll do show delts and arms today. So we're in the local today. This is TKMMA on the top of the marina. So usually what I would do is, when I'm having a super busy day, Benus is a better gym, well better equipped, but it is a full day out to get out there sometimes. So I could have an hour and a half gym session, but it could take me the guts of 4 hours to get out, train and get back just because of traffic and stuff. So when I'm busy, this gym does the job, and actually is a very well equipped gym, has everything that you need. And it's actually quite aesthetic as well, so you'll see it today. It has an outdoor part too, so it's actually quite cool. Today's session is nothing too heavy. I'd usually run this session at the end of the week, and I'll run you through my training split at the end of this video, but it's only delts and arms today. Okay, so we'll top up on areas that need more work coming into that men's physique category. I'm going to start off with some biceps, move on to the delts, finish off with the triceps. The number? This is my third, but not third this. I had 2 small monsters in this. I was waiting on you. You took forever to get to me. This is just a little pick-me-up, you know. I'm actually quite fatigued. I'm not meant to be training today. I think I've said that already. But I have to work around Mark's schedule, you see. So I'll fill in the gaps today. So an extra bit of C4 will do the job. Actually never touched on the last video I did back home in Ireland. I thought I tore my pec or seriously hurt it during that session with Andy. But it's actually okay now. It took about a week and a half to get back to where it is now. So it was nothing serious, but definitely strained. What I did was I just pushed off my push sessions at the end of the week. So I gave it like 4 or 5 days of actual rest. And then reintroduced training on chest with reps in reserve. So I didn't train to true mechanical failure for a couple of sessions. And now I'm back and I'm brand new. So no major issue, just could have been a slight strain on the pec. So that's nice because that was stressing me out for this prep.
Yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay. Hey. Yeah. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early feeling.
You can see me actually at the end of this prep too. I turn a little bit sick looking, to be fair. My face looks like a skeleton. Somewhere I lose body fat real quick is in my face. My back is always the last place to come in. Stomach comes in quite quick. Face comes in very quick. So I look like a skeleton. Walk around for about 8 to 10 weeks of prep. All fun and games. Common misconception about dieting phases is the ability to lose muscle tissue. And I had this conversation with a client the other day who was thinking they were losing tissue because they're dieting. It's very difficult to lose tissue when you're dieting. There's just a couple of circumstances where it can happen, yes, where resistance training is not present. So you've got nothing stimulating tissue to actually respond and grow. Or if you're in a super harsh environment, so you drop your food super low and put your cardio up super high, creating a very aggressive deficit. But if you're taking a controlled approach, looking after your recovery, your biofluid markers, you've got some training stimulus there, some resistance training, and you've got decent nutrient intake, it's nearly impossible to lose muscle tissue. So don't think you're losing muscle tissue. The common misconception is that you're dropping off body fat, so you're going to shrink in size anyway. So a lot of lads their t-shirts will start to not fill out as much, but it's not tissue that they're losing, it's actually just body mass, which is fat mass in that kind of calorie deficit. Oh, I nearly had that there, bro. The misunderstanding part is losing actual size, because you have to remember body fat is a percentage of your body weight and body mass. So when you are shrinking in size, it's not tissue that you're losing, it's actually just body fat coming off your body. So when you're not filling out your t-shirts as much, it's not the tissue that's being lost, it's that you're losing body fat. So stick to the process. Once you've got all those things present, you will not lose tissue in a dieting phase.
She like me, she might be what I need. She get spicy, want taste test, come by me, yeah. I'm icy, way too icy. I get paper, on big screen, I'm Spike Lee. I'm vibey.
Just because you train a muscle indirectly training muscle groups may not be enough to develop that specific muscle group. And what I mean by that is your anterior delts, you're going to hit a lot of that doing any pressing movements. Likewise with your rear delts, any pulling movements, you're going to hit them indirectly. But if you look at your physique, are those areas developed? And if they're not developed, you may have to program some direct work, the likes of front raises, rear delt flies. Those variations are going to target that specific area, and if you are looking to build a symmetrical physique, you may have to put them in to give it that direct work and attention that it needs to grow. So let me train. Good. The hip rear delts now. I was thinking that cable is broke because outdoors shit, rust and all, so we might just do this unilaterally. This is actually one of my favourite variations for a rear delt fly. So what we want the alignment up is just a little bit above shoulder height, and you're pulling in this outward, downward motion. And what that does is just aligns the cable up with the fibres along the rear delt. Science, I know. So that might be a bit heavy though. Range of movement, what I'd use is I'd use this arm as a brace always, just so I have some stability and something to drive off. You're creating two opposite forces. I'm pushing with this arm, I'm pulling with this arm, so it keeps some stability in the movement.
Too wavy, come and get like me. She like me, she might be what I need.
You know, sunglasses, Mark, there. You have the chain, but not the sunglasses.
I get paid, my big screen, my spiky. I'm vibey, just vibey. Too wavy, I can tell they wanna get like me. Yeah. I'm vibey, just vibey. Too wavy, come and get like me.
I'm going to show you how to get more from your single arm cable lat raise. Most commonly you'll see people just taking the cable from here, down from the bottom, standing away from the cable and raising, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, as you start to fatigue, you're going to use body language to get that load up. So what I want to do is create stability where we can when it comes to any movement. Best way to do it with this setup is use your arm as the brace. Okay, so I'm going to drive this arm in, pressing that against the machine, and I'm creating an opposite force here. So I'm pressing with the arm in and driving away, pulling away with the arm. So that's just going to give me a brace, something to push off of when I'm looking to drive some force.
I get paper on big screen, I'm spikely. I'm vibey, just vibey. Too wavy, I can tell they wanna get like me. Yeah. I'm vibey, just vibey. Too wavy, come and get like me. I'm never living a bit in a timid straight shooter. I'm dumping the clip that I'm dipping, hitting the mark with the waviest art.
So we are 10, 11, 12 and 13 potentially weeks out. First show is in about 10 weeks time, and we may jump into 2 different federations. Where I'm at now, since our last video in Dubai, I was 92.7 this morning, so I've dropped the guts of like 2.5 kilo there in the space of 3 weeks. So I feel a little bit sharper. Still a lot of work to do, of course, but it's nice to see everything responding and in a good place. And we're back at the house. So decent kind of session there. That session again is just like a top-up session. What I'm going to run you through is kind of like where we're at on this prep from a setup standpoint and what we're working towards essentially, because I haven't released what show dates that I'm actually going to be preparing for. To be fair, they actually weren't really planned. We knew we had a timeline created, but we hadn't selected shows just yet. So as I said, we're 10, 11, 12 and 13 potential weeks out. We've got 2 shows up first, May 1st. I think there's one a week later, May 8th. They're both 2 bros. They're both regional shows, so NPC shows. And then we've got a PCA show, which is in Ireland, so it'd be nice to compete on home soil. I have never competed in Ireland, so that'd be nice to kind of set down there. And then another PCA show a week later, which is the Universe. They're all potential show days that we're working towards, and that's all within the month of May, so it works perfectly with kind of the work that we have kind of cut out with our other clients competing as well. We've got a good few clients competing in April and in June as well, so I want to be a bit more flexible and free to have prep finished by those dates. But depending on the success of those shows, there could potentially be more shows down the line. If we do well, we do well, you know, which we're working towards. So current setup at the moment, I'm training 4 days per week, but I pull in a 5th day as well for some extra volume, which is the day that I did today. How it runs is pull, push, rest. I've got a density day, which is legs, maintenance volume, and more pull, more back. Leg volume has been reduced because in men's physique, it's not truly judged because you're wearing board shorts, but my legs are actually and quads are actually a strong point too, so I can just bring and tolerate maintenance volume and just focus on the areas that I need to improve as much as I can into the prep, and then a push session again. So 4 sessions, and then I usually do a top-up session, which today was like some delts and arm work, which is where it needs attention when it comes to men's physique. Those are some of the main body parts that are judged in the category. Food has been adjusted there as of yesterday, so we're on 3,200 calories training day, slightly less than the last check-in, and non-training day food hasn't been touched yet, still at 3,000 calories. Cardio has been increased to 6 by 25 minutes, still not a huge amount of cardio, and steps are at 10k. When it comes to training volume is in around baseline, like 2 and max 3 working sets per exercise. There is some intensifiers thrown in there on certain body parts, like of arms, etc., that need that extra bit of volume. That volume is perfect for where I'm at now, with food being in a really good place. That may change though as prep gets deeper, as fatigue starts to accumulate, expenditure gets a little bit higher. We may look at more quality over quantity when it comes to training volume to hold on to the tissue that we have in the later stages of prep. So what I wanted to touch on is the perception of competing and what it takes to actually compete. There's a reason why I haven't competed over the past 4 or 5 years, and it's because I've been working on building Perform up to what it is today. Initially started off with myself, have built a brand now, have coaches within the team, have other employees as well that work within the brand itself. So I could not prep in that type of environment where I'm trying to build and scale the brands. It's just not an environment that I would have been able to compete at my best and give it my full attention. And that's sometimes what people need to take into consideration when it comes to competing. Although, yeah, it's maybe a great goal for someone to have and an aspiration, you need to make sure that it complements your life to a certain extent and it's not taking too much away from it, because it can get very overwhelming if you don't have all things aligned. And that's why I had to be a bit strategic and smart with where I was planning on competing next. I always knew I was going to return to the stage, but I just knew whilst I was building Perform up to what it is, it wasn't the right time to compete. But now where we have everything's in a really good place. We have a team of world-class coaches. Our clients are very well looked after. We get result after result. Systems are fantastic. The brand is in a really good place now to allow me to be able to compete and pursue my own physique development goals. But that's just a bit of food for thought when it comes to competing, because we do have a lot of clients who have aspirations to compete down the line, but you need to look at your lifestyle, your commitments, your responsibilities, and know that things are in alignment to be able to compete and put that amount of time and effort into doing your cardio, doing your training and so on, because you need to be on point if you are to bring your best physique. There's no need to rush into a process. You need to make sure everything's aligned, is what I'm trying to get at there. So we're going to wrap the video up there. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I'll catch us in the next one, which will probably be next week.